Hey Reddit. I'm Ethan, 32, and a few months ago, my wife left me. Not for a better life. Not because we were unhappy, but because her astrologer told her she was destined to be with someone else. And the worst part, that someone else was my own brother. But if you think that's the craziest part of the story, just wait. I remember the exact moment my marriage exploded. It was a Tuesday night. I was on the couch, watching some random Netflix show, when my wife, Lena, walked in looking weird, like she had just seen a ghost. Or worse, like she was about to drop a bomb on my entire life. She stood there, wringing her hands. Ethan, we need to talk. I paused the TV, raising an eyebrow. Okay, what's up? She took a deep breath, and then, without any warning, she said, I think I married the wrong person. I actually laughed, because for a second, I thought she was joking. Then I saw her face. She was dead serious. My stomach twisted. What the hell does that mean? Lena bit her lip. She exhaled sharply. I saw my astrologer today. I blinked, and she hesitated. She told me, I'm with the wrong man, that I wasn't meant to be with you. I stared at her. You're joking. She shook her head. She wasn't. I ran a hand down my face, trying to process this insanity. So, let me get this straight, I said, forcing myself to stay calm. You went to an astrologer, and now you suddenly believe our entire marriage is a mistake. Lena nodded, completely serious. I let out a humorless laugh. Wow, I shook my head. That's insane. She flinched. Ethan, I know this sounds crazy, but she was so certain. She told me I've been fighting my true path, that I've been ignoring the signs. And when I asked who my real soulmate was, she hesitated, and I already knew. A pit formed in my stomach. Who? I asked, my voice hollow. Lena looked me dead in the eyes and said, Noah, my brother. For a full 10 seconds, I just stared at her, waiting for her to take it back, waiting for her to tell me this was some sick joke. But she didn't. She actually believed this. I scoffed, shaking my head. Lena, think about what you're saying. No, you haven't, I snapped. You're talking about throwing away everything we built because some random woman with a crystal ball told you to. She exhaled sharply. She's not some random woman. She's guided me for years, Ethan. She's never been wrong before. I ran a hand through my hair, my blood boiling. Oh, really? I snapped. And how does she explain the fact that you and Noah have never had a single romantic interaction in your entire lives? Lena hesitated. She says we were drawn to the same family, that I was meant to be close to Noah, but I got confused and married the wrong brother. I let out a bitter laugh. Wow. So now you're just going to up and leave? Just like that? She swallowed hard. I don't want to hurt you. Too late. I stood up, my hands shaking. You know what? I said, my voice ice cold. If you honestly believe this, if you think Noah is the person you're destined to be with, then go. But don't come back when this blows up in your face. She winced. Ethan? No. I cut her off. You made your choice. I turned away, staring at the floor. I thought I knew my wife. I thought she was smarter than this. But clearly I was wrong, because the next morning, she packed her bags and left. I wish I could say that was the worst part, that I moved on, picked up the pieces, and never looked back. But this story was just getting started, because a few months later, I found out Noah paid the astrologer to lie to her. Lena was gone. She packed her stuff, moved out, and ran straight into my brother Noah's arms like some brainwashed cult member. At first, I told myself I'd be fine. Let them have each other. Let her waste her life on some ridiculous soulmate fantasy. But then, I found out the truth. And suddenly, I wasn't just hurt. I was furious. It started with a text from my cousin, Matt. Matt, dude, you need to call me. Now. I sighed, already exhausted. I hadn't spoken to Matt much since the breakup, mostly because I didn't want to deal with the pity. Still, something about his message felt off, so I called. He picked up immediately. "Man, have you heard?" I frowned. "Heard what?" A pause. Then, "Noah paid that astrologer." The words barely registered. "What?" Matt exhaled. "Bro, Noah paid her off. He literally bought his way into your wife's head." My stomach dropped. "No, that doesn't make sense." "I'm telling you it's real," Matt insisted. "A buddy of mine used to date the astrologer's assistant. He told me Noah showed up months ago, before Lena ever had her first reading, slipped the astrologer a fat stack of cash, and told her exactly what to say. I felt physically ill. Lena left me because she thought the universe had spoken, but the only thing guiding her fate was my own backstabbing brother. I leaned against the counter, gripping the edge so hard my knuckles turned white. "Noah did this," I muttered. "Yeah, man." Matt's voice was grim. He played the long game, and Lena fell for it. I clenched my jaw. This wasn't just some messed up love triangle. This was manipulation. This was my own brother planting lies in my wife's head until she cracked. And suddenly my heartbreak turned into rage. I wasn't going to let this slide. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I reached out to Lena. "We need to talk." She didn't answer at first, but 3 hours later, she sent one word back. "Lena, why?" I smirked to myself. Got her attention. Because you deserve the truth." 5 minutes passed. Then, "Lena, fine. Coffee tomorrow at noon." She had no idea what was coming. The next day, I walked into the cafe and spotted Lena at a corner table. She looked good, annoyingly good, like someone who thought they had won. I sat down across from her. "Thanks for meeting me." She sipped her coffee, looking unimpressed. "What do you want, Ethan?" I smiled. "Just to ask one thing." She raised an eyebrow. "What?" I leaned in. "How does it feel to have your entire life dictated by my brother's wallet?" She blinked. "What?" I pulled out my phone and slid it across the table. "Read that," I said, out loud. She hesitated, then glanced at the screen. Her expression shifted immediately. Her lips parted, but no words came out. Because staring back at her, screenshots, text between Noah and the astrologer's assistant, proof that my brother paid for the entire thing. Lena paled. This isn't fake." I finished for her. "Go ahead. Call the astrologer. See if she denies it." She stared at the screen like it was about to explode. Then she whispered, "Noah wouldn't do this." I let out a short laugh. "Wouldn't he?" She looked up, desperate now. "He loves me." I tilted my head. "Does he? Or did he just want to beat me?" Her breath hitched, because deep down she knew. Noah didn't do this for love. He did it because he was a jealous, insecure snake who always hated being in my shadow. And Lena? She was just another trophy to him. Her hand shook as she put the phone down. She swallowed hard. "I need to talk to him." I smirked. "Yeah, you do." Then I stood up, grabbed my coffee, and walked out, because I'd already won. That night, my phone buzzed. "Lena, I made a mistake." I stared at the message, feeling nothing but satisfaction. She finally realized the truth. But here's the thing. I wasn't waiting for her anymore. She chose to leave. Now, she had to live with it. Lena wanted me back. I could see it in the way she texted, the way she hesitated when she called. But I wasn't the same heartbroken fool she left behind. She threw everything away for a lie. And now, she had to live with it. I ignored her message, didn't reply. Instead, I went about my day like nothing had happened. Went to work, grabbed dinner with some friends, even managed to enjoy myself. And the best part? I wasn't waiting for her anymore. 2 days passed. Then another text. "Lena, can we talk? Please?" I smirked. Noah's little scheme had officially crumbled, and I was about to enjoy every second of it. I finally answered, keeping it short. Me? Talk about what? She responded immediately. Lena, you were right about Noah. About everything. I'm so sorry, Ethan. I never should have left you. I exhaled sharply, feeling zero sympathy. She made her bed. Now, she had to lie in it. Then, just when I thought things couldn't get more pathetic, Noah called. I stared at the screen, debating whether to answer. Then curiosity won. I picked up. Well, look who finally grew a pair. Noah exhaled sharply. Ethan, listen. No, you listen. I cut in. I know everything, Noah. Every single disgusting thing you did to manipulate her. And now that she knows too, you're panicking. Silence. Then, in a pathetically bitter voice, he muttered, You just couldn't let me have her, could you? I laughed. Let you have her? You had to pay someone to make her want you. Another pause. Then he snapped. She was always supposed to be mine. I froze. Because in that one sentence, Noah told me everything I needed to know. This wasn't about love. It was never about Lena. It was about me. He spent his whole life competing with me, hating that I was always ahead, better grades, better job, better life. And when I married Lena, that was the final straw. So, he did what he always did. He cheated, because he knew deep down he'd never actually win otherwise. I chuckled. You know what, Noah? You can keep her. He scoffed. You don't mean that. Oh, I do, I said. Because no matter what happens, you'll always be second place. Even when you cheat, you lose. Then, before he could respond, I hung up. Later that night, Lena showed up at my door. I opened it, leaning against the frame, arms crossed. She looked nervous. Hey, I smirked. Something wrong? Her eyes pleaded. Ethan, please. Let's talk. I raised an eyebrow. Talk about how you threw away our marriage for a fake soulmate reading. She flinched. I was stupid. I got caught up in it. But you have to believe me. I never stopped loving you. I let out a humorless laugh. Really? Because last time I checked, you left me without a second thought. Her voice cracked. I thought I was following fate. I shook my head. No, you were following a guy with a fat wallet and a fragile ego. She looked down ashamed, and for the first time I saw it. She regretted everything. But here's the thing. I didn't care anymore. I sighed. Lena, do you know what I did after you left? She swallowed. What? I waited. I admitted. I hoped you'd wake up, that you'd realize how ridiculous this was. But then I realized something. Her lips parted. What? I smirked. I deserve better than you. Her breath hitched. Ethan, please. No, my voice was firm. You made your choice. Tears welled in her eyes. I miss you. I exhaled. Yeah, I said. I used to miss you too. Then, before she could say another word, I shut the door in her face. And just like that, she was gone for good. And for the first time since she left, I felt free. Lena was gone. No more texts. No more calls. No more pathetic attempts to weasel her way back into my life. And Noah? He disappeared too. At first, I thought maybe he had finally grown a conscience. Maybe, after everything, he realized he was just a cheap imitation of a man. But then, I heard what really happened, and I laughed my ass off. It started with a message from Matt. Matt, bro, you're gonna want to hear this. I rolled my eyes. What now? Matt, Noah got dumped. Bad. I sat up, grinning. Me. By who? Matt, Lena. She left him. Me, no. Way. Matt, dude. She took all his money, maxed out his credit cards, and then ghosted him. Guy's drowning in debt. I burst out laughing. After everything he did to steal her from me, after all the manipulation, the lies, the betrayal, she used him and threw him away. Like trash. It wasn't about soulmates. It was never about love. Lena wasn't looking for fate. She was looking for the next best opportunity. And when Noah's money ran out, so did she. A week later, I ran into him. I was grabbing coffee, minding my own business, when I spotted him sitting alone at a table, head down, looking like absolute shit. I almost ignored him. Almost. But then I thought, screw it. I walked over, coffee in hand, and pulled out the chair across from him. He barely looked up. I smirked. You look rough. Noah exhaled. Go away, Ethan. I leaned back. What's wrong? Your soulmate. Finally read the fine print. His jaw clenched. I don't need this right now. I grinned. Oh, I think you do. He sighed. She was using me. I pretended to be shocked. No way. Really? The woman who left her husband because of a paid-off astrologer turned out to be a fraud. He rubbed his face, looking defeated. I should have seen it. I leaned forward. Yeah, you should have. For a second, he just sat there, stewing in his own stupidity. Then he muttered, I was jealous of you, you know. I raised an eyebrow. No shit. No. He shook his head. I mean, my whole life, I felt like I was always second place. You got the good grades, the good job, the good life. I just wanted to win for once. I scoffed. And stealing my wife was your way of winning. He looked down. Guess I lost. I smirked. Yeah, you did. I stood up, grabbing my coffee. Before I walked away, I looked him dead in the eyes. You always wanted what I had, Noah. But the problem is, you never knew how to keep it. Then I walked out, and I didn't look back. That night, I sat on my couch, watching TV, feeling lighter. For the first time in months, I wasn't angry. I wasn't bitter. I was free. And when my phone buzzed with a new message from someone who actually deserved my time, I smiled, because my life, it was just getting started.